All right. For decades now, the term the greatest quarterback of all time has been up in the air. Many quarterbacks such as Joe Montana, Brett Favre, Steve Young, Troy Aikman, they've all been considered to be the greatest. However, people haven't come to a unanimous decision on to whom. However, after February 5th, 2017, that title has now been given to Tom Brady. So today I'm going to be proving why Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. Now I'll be doing that by providing statistics and showing what he did in the game that proved why he's the greatest of all time. However, before I can start talking about Tom Brady, I'm going to be defining the term quarterback. Merriam-Webster.com defines the term as an offensive back in football who usually lines up behind the center, calls the signals, and directs the offensive play of the team. So if you were to think of the quarterback like an army unit, the general would be the head coach, and right below that would be the quarterback. That is Tom Brady. He is pretty much the brains of the team. He calls the plays, and you essentially need a good quarterback to be a good team. History has shown that a team that wins Super Bowls has good quarterbacks. All right, so from an objective and statistical standpoint, it is hard to argue that Tom Brady is not the greatest quarterback of all time. According to FoxSports.com, after winning Super Bowl 51, Tom Brady set 11 new records, which include but not limited to having the most Super Bowls of all time, which is 5, most pass attempts with 62, most completions in the game with 43, most yards in the game with 466, getting his 4th Super Bowl MVP, which surpassed his childhood hero of Joe Montana. Tom Brady also has 10 game-winning drives in a postseason, which is also a record. And these are just Super Bowl records. These are not even career records that he has set. Now let's cover the records that he has set throughout his career. In 2007, Tom Brady threw 50 touchdowns in a season, which at the time was a new record. Just to give you guys some perspective, Tom Brady has averaged in his career about 28 touchdowns a game, so he nearly doubled that in one season. In 2007, Tom Brady also became the second quarterback in NFL history to have a perfect regular season, with going 17-0, only to lose the Super Bowl that year, according to CBS.com. All right, according to ProFootballReference.com, Tom Brady has also broken the best touchdown to interception ratio in 2016 with 28 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And for those of you who don't know, a touchdown is essentially when the quarterback passes it to his own players, and that player passes what is called the end zone. Once you pass the end zone, that is worth 6 points. And an interception is when the quarterback throws the ball to the opposing team unintentionally, which is a bad thing. You don't want to do that. And Tom Brady threw 28 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And to give you some perspective, QBs in the league usually average around 10 interceptions, and Tom Brady only had 2. Also, Tom Brady didn't play the first 4 games due to some issues he had in the beginning. So he played 4 less games than he does usually, and he still set a new record with 28-2 touchdown to interception ratio. Now that we have covered some statistics that Tom Brady has set throughout his career, now let's cover what he did in Super Bowl 51 that has officially declared him as the greatest quarterback of all time. So in February 5th, 2017, the New England Patriots played the Atlanta Falcons for Super Bowl 51. The game started off fairly slow, and then the Falcons pretty much took control pretty much 3/4 of the game. They ended up having a 28-3 lead. At that point, many people thought the game was over because no team in NFL history has ever came back from a 10-point deficit. However, Tom Brady did. He came back from a 25-point deficit with 3/4 of the game nearly done already, which is unheard of. Ken Hayes, a sports journalist for B105 Sports, from an article called "Why is Everyone Calling Tom Brady the GOAT?" He said right after the Super Bowl, "Last night was the greatest Super Bowl comeback in NFL history. That's not an opinion, it's a fact. No team has ever come back from that deficit to win the Super Bowl in Super Bowl history, and it was Tom Brady that led the Patriots to a win." NFL Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp stated briefly after the game, "Tom Brady is the greatest football player in the 97-year NFL history. There's nothing else to debate. No one can argue this. Clearly, two credible sources have said that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. There's numerous, and there's many more. However, I do not have the time to say everyone because that would just be annoying. All right. There's a quote that says, "Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie." And frankly, it doesn't matter if you look at this from an objective or a subjective standpoint. It is clear to tell that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback to have ever played the game of football. And that is because of the man's stats and what he did in Super Bowl 51. Thank you.
Okay, well, I like the introduction. You've got a nice solid opening there with a little bit of history, a little bit of mystery, and then you identify what your topic is. I think you've got an okay preview. Could probably be a little bit more detailed, but it's simple and to the point. The content of the speech, you do an excellent job setting up all of the information. You give us sources for everything that you're presenting, so you're doing the right thing there. I thought that was good. It does get a little redundant listening to a lot of statistics and a lot of pieces of factual data as you're going through it. One of the things, though, that you do pretty well is that you kind of always give us a little bit of context on one of those sorts of things. So you don't just give us the record, he's won more Super Bowls than anybody else, but he's won more Super Bowls than anybody else, including his hero Joe Montana. Or when you talk about his number of interceptions, you put it in context and say, he threw 10 interceptions, or 2 interceptions, and the average quarterback, in the league threw 10 in the particular season. So I like the fact that you're not just giving us the information, but you try to put it into a context, explain why it's important, make it a little bit more interesting that way. And I thought you did a pretty good job on those things. Presentation, there are a lot of things that are pretty solid. I think your voice projects well. I thought I heard more variety in your voice this time than I did in the past, and it seems to be going fairly smoothly. The places where there are a couple of problems, you are a little dependent on the notes here and there, and so your eye contact is down. You're going to watch your video back, and you're going to see that you've got some foot movement things that you're doing. That's where all of your energy is coming out there. I think you could probably have a few more gestures. When you look up, you have a tendency, and I understand, to look right down the middle of the aisle here. Don't forget that there are people in different parts of the room. But I'm not. The camera and I are not the only people that you should be talking to, so you need to kind of distribute it a little bit. I thought that the conclusion was really solid. I like the exit that you had there, and I think you've made a very good argument here. It's a persuasive speech more than it is a informative presentation, but you know what? It works. It's fine. Thank you.